Welcome to episode 5 and Happy New Year. Even though it's not exactly January 1st, but for me, it feels like the beginning because it's after the first week of the holidays and still celebrating. So welcome back. Now that we are in a new year, I want to talk about your goals. What goals have you set for yourself? Did you already set them on the 31st? Or before that, what's your plan? I wanted to discuss what is one of the biggest limiting beliefs that people have in setting goals or why they don't set certain goals. And I want to help you embrace that belief, overcome it, so you can create the goals that you've always dreamt of without this. So let's get started. So it's kind of like a mindset reset, right? So one of the things that is very common and limiting, and just based on this one limiting belief can take you away from creating the goals and dreams of your life, is the word I can't. I can't do this because I don't have enough money. I can't do this because I don't have a car. I can't do this because I'm old. I can't do this because I don't have a boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or wife. I can't do this. I don't have time. All of these things that you can't do, apparently, because of things you don't have, is just an excuse and limiting belief. When you say, I can't do something, I can't make this goal, I can't set this goal for myself because I can't do this, you're basically giving the power, you are relinquishing your power and you're giving it to outside circumstances. And now all your goals are based on conditional circumstances that the world will not be able to provide you ever because you are giving that power to the external world. What you need to do, if you want to set the goals that you really, really aspire for in 2025, is bring back the power to you. And bringing back the power to you means taking responsibility and accountability for where you are today. You are in charge. You are the master of your destiny. You can control anything that you want to control. You just have to believe that it is your responsibility and you are held accountable for it. No one else is holding you accountable for it, and no one else is responsible for where you are today. It's you. And for some people, it could be a very obvious statement, and for others, it can come as a shock. And for those that comes as a shock is usually those that have been saying, I can't because of this, and I can't because of that. And I'm here to tell you, you're creating weakness for yourself if you continue saying that. So this year for 2025, if you just shift that mindset by believing that you are responsible for your future and not the external circumstances, you're going to be able to achieve your goal in 2025. Just to kind of give you an example of what that looks like, right? If let's say you wanted to make $1 million, you can make $1 million, but if you don't have the discipline to have $1 million and know how to use it, you're going to blow your money and be back at being broke again. If you want to be beautiful and you want to get plastic surgery or Botox or do your hair or buy better clothes, whatever it is that makes you feel beautiful, if you don't have the confidence within or feel the beauty essence within yourself, it doesn't matter what you do to your body or to your external facade. You will still feel ugly and not beautiful. And in not feeling beautiful within, you're then not going to get the things that you'd like to achieve with that essence. Basically, what I want to say is that your goal for 2025 should not be something on an external basis. You should desire to change your mindset for the thing that you want to do. Visualization is a big key when it comes to creating the goals that you want. And I know that this sounds like a big buzzword, visualization. I've heard it a million times. However, it's important because if you can imagine what it feels like to have that and what it feels like to have that with the right mindset, then it's all that greater. And it's kind of goes
backwards, right? You need to have this mindset in order for you to get the $1 million. You need to have this mindset in order for you to be beautiful. So your goal should be about achieving a certain mindset so you can achieve the other goal, which is what you want. So I'm going to give you this story since we're wrapping up the holidays, but it's a biblical story. It's the story of Moses. And when I first heard this story, I really resonated with it because I didn't think that having the mindset like I'm explaining to you was so important until I saw and read the story of Moses. The story of Moses goes like this. He ended up rescuing the Jewish people from slavery in Egypt. So his goal was, if I can manage to rescue the Jewish slaves in Egypt and bring them to the promised land, I have achieved my mission. They will be free and they can be able to start a foundation for a new life in the promised land. What happened was he finally got them out of Egypt, and it was supposed to take them 40 days to get from Egypt to the promised land. And on their way, Moses realized these people were not ready for the promised land because even though they came out of slavery physically, they were still enslaved in their head. They could not think for themselves. They didn't know how to act civilized. They didn't know what rules were, how to follow, what mindset to have. They did not have the mindset of a free person. And because of that, they were slaves in their head. So instead of taking 40 days to get to the promised land, it took them 40 years. In the Testament, it says that God then wrote the 10 Commandments. And that was a reason for it, because they needed to learn how to behave, what they needed to do. They needed to have a set of rules in order to reset their mind so that they can live in the promised land. And that stuck to me so hard. So then it took them 40 years. Some people probably didn't even make it to the promised land. And even if they did, who's to say that they were able to actually feel free truly feel free, even if they were free physically. And so I say this to you because I really want everybody finally live to the fruits of their labor and really enjoy when they get what they want. But in order for you to get what you want, you really need to work on getting into the mindset. So I'll give you a couple of tips. For me, what's helped me. I like to see my professional life as a movie, even my personal life. And so I play this movie in my head. I get to feel what the movie is showing me. And it's a feeling of I'm ecstatic, I'm happy, I'm full of energy, and I can see what I'm doing. I'm having fun, I'm successful, I am achieving all my goals. And that movie keeps playing in my head. And as the movie progresses, the idea and the dreams and the goals get bigger. And my excitement gets bigger. And then I do a podcast like this, right? And that's how it kind of works for me. I didn't have for me, the idea of doing a podcast was far-fetched. And I thought that would be something at the tail end after I've gone through the rite of passage and done 1,000,001 things. And that's when I realized I had this I can't mentality. I had put some barriers of entry for myself in order to have this podcast. Until I started imagining what it would be like. And the mindset that I started getting was as if I already had a podcast. I felt in my head I already had it. Until then I finally did it. And now that I have it, I feel like I always had it. And it's amazing for me. So I want you, and I'm still obviously growing. I just started and I'm evolving just like you and everyone else. And I continue to learn what is my next mindset going to take me to and keep going. But it's exciting. And every time I catch myself with the I can't mentality, I have to remember, okay, Katie, what are you afraid of? Because also it can be fear, right? It can be fear of failing. What if this podcast is a total flop? But you know what? For me, in doing this, I feel like I'm giving what I was meant to do in this world to you. And this is the platform for it. So however it is, whether I share it on a video or I share it in person, or I share it in writing. I want to be able to inspire people and motivate and educate on how to get rid of some of the blockages that human beings experience. And through all the things that I've learned and books I've read and continue to learn, I just want to be able to come back and continue sharing it. So I hope that in this video, your 2025 goal will be to not just achieve, the material desire that you want, whether that's money, whether that's your own business, whether that's jewelry, fame, whatever it is, you can put that as your goal. But next to the goal, or before that goal, make it to get into the mindset that you need to get into. So let's go. Let's make 2025 the best year. See ya.